Okay, as I said, I was in Zbrush. Alright, I'm going to divide this a few times. Divide it. Go on to the last level, divide it. Divide it. Divide it. Now you can divide it higher. I can't divide it any higher or my computer will crash. So I'm going to look at my multi-displacement get mesh info. And I have 1,000,000 polys. Okay, so 1,000,000 polys and above, this trick will work. Higher the better. So if you get to about even 2,000,000 polys, that would be great. But know that it will work around this range. Alright, so I'm going to load my texture that I made in Photoshop. Import, maps, frog skin. It's 496 map, so when you click on it, it takes a couple seconds to load up in the old preview window. That's one thing I hate. And then hit open. Alright, so my texture's on there. It needs to be flipped. And there's my frog, all textured out. The black and white gray representation. He's got little bumps and scales. And the mirror, you notice since I did it in Photoshop, I did it that one way. Actually, it flows across real good. There's no any visible seams at all. Okay, so I'm going to use this to my advantage. So I'm going to go... Actually, I should save this tool before I do anything. So I'm going to lower it to the lowest level and save it as step 5. Now I don't want to save that with it. Go all the way back up. Tool, masking from texture intensity. And then I'm going to turn off my texture. You'll see that the frog turns completely gray. And I'm going to say tool, go to deformation and say inflate 10. We'll try it out. That looks pretty good. So I'm going to say inflate 10 more. And maybe inflate 10 more. And then I'm going to hit smooth. Smooth 10. There we go. We got frog skin, and it's actually on there as a mesh. So yeah, that tells you a lot. It's like actually baked right into the mesh. So now we can make normal maps and displacement maps for it. I'm going to lower down the geometry so I can save this again. Always be saving a lot during this process. And I always save it as like step 5, step 6, step 7. That mask is still on there. And I'm going to look at a picture of our tree frog here. He's green, and the light green is actually on the very topmost layer. Then he's got some blue in this area. So I'm going to concentrate on the green first. Okay, so I'm going to take RBG and put it on, and I'm going to pick a green that would look good on this frog, probably right about there. And I'm going to say texture, and I'm not going to make a huge map. 2048 by 2048. And since that texture is on, it'll actually stay that way on that bottommost area. And if I actually invert it, inverse mask under masking, and choose a darker green, just something real light. Never made that weird. Okay, let's try that. Make that new texture. I must have not hit the new texture button. Picky. Okay, now we'll go to the darker green, and I'll just kind of brush in some darker green values in here. I'm also going to go in here and put some blue on the underside of him. Take a look at my reference here. Blue on the little arm, the little leg. I doubt all these guys are like perfectly that way, but I'm just going to go by my reference. Okay, keep looking at my reference. He's got a little orange paws going on. It's got this little interesting white and yellow stripe thing. Maybe I'll make that first. For this interesting white stripe thing, I want the brush to work dynamically. So I want to hit Control Shift, hide as much as I can of the model. And I'm going to get a different alpha in here for this brush. Something softer. Yellow, not white. And something with a little harsher edge now. Maybe make some white details in here. Get some texture. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to hit Control and Shift. Get the rest of my model back. And we'll put some different colors in here. Get some orange going on. Notice I haven't even used Projection Master yet because, yeah, I can paint more accurately like this than I can with Projection Master, and it's a lot less time. See, the inside of that mouth needs to be smoothed out a little bit, but we'll get that in a minute. Okay, now some really bright yellow. Touch maybe the tops of these with like a brighter yellow. It's all using that mask, and that mask is the key to making all this. Maybe some red. do some on the back feet here. These back feet, when we get done with the whole model, will need to be like put in a position for animation. When I modeled this, I modeled it flat, so I can do UVs better. I can do anything else just quicker and easier because it's all flat, especially the UVs. But when we get all done, we're actually going to go in here and say flip these legs this way. Look at my model again here. Okay, the rest of this stuff I'm going to texture bake in, and he's actually white on the other side, so on the bottom side he's a little whiter. And I'm going to guess that his mouth on the inside is pink or red or something. So I'm going to actually hide this. And I'm going to go in here and I'm going to smooth some of this out, like right in this area. So I'm going to go back to Z add, hold shift down, and now I'm going to take off my mask. So I'm going to go masking, clear. Go in here and smooth this out. Go lower it down to the lowest level. Do the same thing. Oops. Clear mask. I'm going to hide everything but the mouth, just like I did before. If you hold control down, you only get the mask. That's what my issue is right here. So there we go. Control Z. As long as I get the mouth by itself. I know there's some in the background, but up the geometry again. Looks like I got a few more in there. Oh, yep, right there. If you're having a hard time seeing it, go to display double, and it'll double side everything so I can see those other polygons back there. Now I'm going to take off double. Okay, so there's the inside of the mouth. Good enough. Now I'm going to take and paint some, maybe some lighter pink in here. Z, take Z add off. just kind of lightly touch in here. And then I'm going to take my Z intensity all the way down. Just kind of feather it out. Yeah, like that. Control Shift. Scale it. And I'm going to go Projection Master with the colors, drop now. And Projection Master, pick it back up now. There we go. We got our little tree frog, and he's all colorful. I'm going to actually use Projection Master just to kind of, brighten and darken some of these areas. So I'm going to go to Projection Master, drop it with colors. And I'm going to go in here to the highlighter brush. Turn it to freehand. Just kind of lightly touch some of these topmost things. Then I'm going to go to the Shading Enhancer brush and see how that goes on there. Yeah, too dark. And what else we got? Hue Shifter. Sure, shift some hues just once in a while in here. Scrubbing around. Then I'm going to go back to the single layer simple brush. And I'm going to grab some of the darker values in here. And the Z intensity, all the, like right there, this one, RBG intensity. Let's see if that's a little dark. It's not. It's pretty good actually. I'm going to touch it every once in a while with this. Okay, Projection Master, pick it back up. There's our happy little tree frog. We'll do the eyes in Photoshop. So what I'm going to do is texture, export this, and we'll call this maps. We'll call it tree frog color for the color map. And I'm going to lower this all the way down. And what we do is have to make an alpha for it. So if we get all the high res in there in Photoshop, and we can use all that too. So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to actually stop my recording so it does it really quick, but it's under displacement. And I'm going to say I want a quality of 4. I want the very best of the best. 2048 to match everything else. Smooth UV on. Mode on. And create displacement map.